I can find no time to clear my mind. Oh, I dream of a lazy day, so the one with the careless ways for me to be a living. I feel the shadows hanging over, but wait, now come closer to come and take me away. And I can feel my heart skip every time that I slip. I wanna run away. Come closer to come and take me away. And I can feel my heart skip every time that I slip. I wanna run away.
And applause. Hey everybody, thank you very much for joining us, whether you're online or whether you're in the room with us today. We have a very exciting session, although obviously I'm biased, so I would say that, wouldn't I? Hopefully those of you online can hear us. You're getting the second-class experience online on my laptop, on a little chair here, and those of you in the room, obviously, you can definitely hear me. By the way, the microphones are only for the live stream. They're not in the room, so don't worry, they're not broken, they are working as expected. So, with all that in mind, we're going to kick off, and this is where I hope all the tech works, and we can actually click through the slides. We had this problem earlier on before we got started, with my slide deck, which is now predictably not working, the first issue, casualty live event. So bear with me with my slides, and we'll get going. Why are you not working? Oh, it's a range issue. Great. Okay, so I'm Bruce Cullen. I'm Director of Products. This is what up in my day job, 9 to 5, and I have a very special guest here with me. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you. Thanks for having me, Bruce. Hi, I'm Liz Novak, and I am with Loom with Atlassian, and I'm really excited to be here, based in Austin, Texas. So came all the way out for this.
It's a long way to come. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
Really good to have you here. And we're excited to hear what you have to share with us. First, assuming this is a range problem with the microphone, with the USB, we are Atlassian Community London. You know who I am. I'm one of the leaders. There are a few other leaders in the room. So we have Arsia, who is around somewhere. I think she's on the door right now. She's over there. Hello, Arsia. Then we have Jay, who's over here. Finally, we have Stuart. Stuart's actually the main man, but you've been off other things. You've had me as sort of holiday cover effectively for a while, which is good. So we are the Atlassian Community London. So we are the people you're going to see regularly, in person and of course online. And it's great to be here with you today. We're going to look at the content now, if my slides work. We do. We have a giveaway, and true Atlassian London style. We're giving away 2 ocean bottles, which are of course Atlassian Community branded. to the best 2 questions. So make sure you're paying attention. That applies whether you're online or in person. I can bring any question from online up on screen. Like this one here, like this. Patricia, it's great to have you all with us as well. So best questions, and could be with a chance of winning these bottles. Now, a quick look at the agenda, assuming that this mouse works for me today. So we're going to start by hearing from Liz on Loom, specifically its AI and its workflows, and basically what it can do, and therefore what it can do for you. Then we're going to go into a bit of a panel discussion where, rather than me leading, I'm going to be being grilled basically by Liz, which is always good fun, because in my day job, I'm a director of products. I use Loom in my real world, so you'll hear a bit more about what I do with Loom, what works for me, and you probably get some feature requests as well from me. That's all part of the fun. Before we click, come on mouse, you can do this. Give away the ocean bottle at 7:30 before going into beer and pizza. So with all that in mind, I'm hoping you're enjoying what you've seen so far from us here at Atlassian Community London, and that's where I keep QR code scanning. So this is our LinkedIn page. I would invite you all to get your phones out now and to give us a scan, and of course to give us a follow, because we need to build the community so we can have further reach, and of course then you'll be the first to hear about what's going on. So even if you're online, you probably already know about this because you're likely to be sat in front of your computer on LinkedIn already, but please do give us a follow. So pretty much this is the point I hand over to you, Liz, to take us through what Loom is, hear what it can do for you.
Excellent. So thank you. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen.
So we hope the tech works for us.
All right. Let's see.
There we go.
Over. Fantastic. Okay. Awesome. Yes. Thank you again so much for having me. So just a little bit more about my background here at Loom. I've been with the company about 1.5 years now. And with that, also have been along for the ride with getting acquired by Atlassian. And it's just been fantastic. Prior to that, I was at another startup and we actually used Loom. So I was on the customer side and really loved how I could easily communicate to my product team or to my engineers about things that I'm hearing from my customers directly. And so with my job, I focus on onboarding with the customer success team. And so it's super fun. I work with our enterprise customers during the first couple of months using Loom and training them on the software. So that's a little bit about me. Just quickly here, this is what we'll be going over the next 30 minutes, starting out with meeting Loom. So if you haven't used it before, if this is your first introduction to it, you will learn how it works, how to get started. And then, as mentioned, we will dive into the Loom AI workflows because we have a lot of really fun integrations like Jira. And so really excited to be demoing that today for you. And then finally, we will go over a roadmap. And if you have any questions throughout, please feel free to stop me. But if you think of anything at the end, I will be sharing out my email so you can reach out to me directly.
And that's true online as well. Keep your questions coming in online as they come to mind.
Fantastic. Yes, help me monitor that because sometimes
it's all good. I'll do the online.
Yeah, thank you. All right. So before we get into a little bit about Loom, I wanted to share some of the context of what we're seeing, what kind of themes we're seeing in the state of work. So we're seeing that meetings continue to be a huge barrier for productivity. And you can see here, we have some stats here, some research that we've done, but 72% of meetings when they're polled are seen as ineffective. And all the way up to 80% of professionals say that they are far less productive when they have a full set of meetings on their calendar. So just to kind of set the theme there. And this is where Loom comes in. So Loom is a video communication tool for asynchronous work. And using Loom's recorders, you can record your screen, you can record your cam bubble, and then you can instantly share it anywhere that you're already communicating. And we're seeing that teams who do embrace video messaging, they're going to give their employees back so much time so they can be more productive and have more time for that work throughout their day. And really one of my favorite things about Loom is also how scalable it is. So it's the ultimate work harder or work smarter, not harder. And so with that, you can record something, maybe it's training or documentation, and you can share it out thousands of times. Maybe it's on your website. And so that just shows how far that message can go, and you're not having to like re-say it or re-explain it over and over again. Like this visual here, this is my favorite to share because it really shows how Loom fits into the ways that you're already communicating at work. So let me know if this resonates with you thinking about asynchronous text, so email. Maybe you are writing a follow-up after a project, you're starting to type out a long email, you're worried about the grammar, you're worried about the tone as it comes off, or in my case, I'm deleting exclamation points because I use way too many in my emails. And so at that point, it's a really good opportunity to actually record yourself as a Loom. You can embed it into your email. And that way you also are showing your face. So it's much more inviting for the person that's receiving it. But then also they're not getting a super lengthy email that they have to read. They're actually getting a video and it's much more impactful. But then think about synchronous text. So you're on Slack or you're on Teams, you're texting all day. This is another great opportunity of how Loom can complement the way that you're working. So perhaps you are like asking a question, or maybe you are sending a screenshot of something that you're trying to explain. That's a great time just to quickly record a Loom, ask a question, send it, copy and paste it into your Slack channel, and you get your point across much more quickly. And it's just much more impactful for the person who's receiving it because they can understand it better. But then we do have our like live meetings. So we are like live streaming this right now. You have face-to-face time over Zoom. We're not here to like totally replace that. There's definitely a time and place for that. But you can think about how Loom can complement it with one, we have what we call a pre-watch Loom. And so that's something maybe you send the agenda ahead of time, or perhaps you are wanting to have a brainstorm session and you send over the project information ahead of time. That way, the people who are attending the live meeting together can be prepared, and then you make that time much more rich and meaningful together. And you can also think about ways that you can totally replace the meeting. So maybe it's a one-way presentation. Maybe it's a project update or daily stand-ups. Some teams do that. This is a great way to give everybody time back on their calendar and just record it as a Loom. All right. And with that, I've talked a lot already, but the challenge for you all is to audit your calendar after this. So take a look at your weekly calendar. Are there any meetings that perhaps you could send an agenda ahead of time, record a quick Loom, less than a couple minutes, and that way people can come prepared to that meeting. Now, thinking about why you should Loom, when you do remove maybe like a couple Zoom meetings or like any like notification fatigue from getting too much over Slack, asynchronous video enables you on a number of ways. So first, it closes the communication gap. So I talked about asking a question or maybe sending feedback. You're able to share it with that tone and get your point across much more quickly. But then also it's boosting productivity. So getting time back on your calendar, have more time for that deep work. And then some fun things with Loom also is it helps to like foster a more inclusive environment and uplift like culture. And so you can think maybe like someone got a promotion and you can record a Loom congratulating them, or happy birthday Looms, a way to be more connected. An example, actually, recently our VP of Revenue is getting married this weekend, and so we all recorded a Loom congratulating him and sent it off before he went out of office. So a way to be more togetherness. And then lastly, we talked about scaling knowledge already, but great for documentation, which I'm excited to demo for you today because we have some really cool ways that AI will automate it. All right, so jumping into how Loom works. Before the demo, I really just want to emphasize how easy it is to use. So if you haven't used it already, we do have free trials that you can sign up online. But quickly, with Loom, you're able to record from a couple different options. I will be demoing our desktop app, but we also have a Chrome extension. And then you're able to instantly edit your Loom. So do some cool things like trimming, stitching Looms together. And then lastly, you're able to share it anywhere that you're already communicating. So you can copy and paste into Slack or into your email. But I'll also show you some of our integrations so that it will automatically create like embed looms, so you can see a little preview of your face. And then with Loom, it does make it really easy to also connect. And so now that we're more in like a remote world, working more distributed, it is a great way to communicate with your teammates. You can add comments, emoji reactions. So it's just a way to be more connected when you are much more distributed. And then lastly, with reusing the content, this is what we call an evergreen loom. So an evergreen loom is one that is recorded, but is still being viewed 5 days later. So it's information that's intended to be scaled. So you can think videos on your website or like a help center. We have some that are actually on our help center that have been viewed. It took 20 minutes for me to record, but it's been viewed over 4,000 times. So you can see just how helpful that is. You don't have to re-explain things over and over again. And yeah. All right. So now jumping into our AI suite. So we released AI last summer because we wanted to help our creators, the people who are recording, to be able to record better videos faster. So we currently sell the AI as an add-on, but later in October, actually, it's going to be included in Enterprise. So in case anybody's an Enterprise customer. But if you haven't tried it already, when you sign up for a Loom trial, you also get a trial of the AI features on 5 Looms. So definitely encourage everybody to go test it out. All right, so this is the fun part. So now we are getting into our AI workflows, which I've had, again, as my job here being onboarding success manager, I get to train people on it. And so we have been rolling out all features over the summer. So first, just background on why we developed these AI workflows. It's because first, creating documentation can be very time consuming. It's a huge hurdle to even think about starting. So with our new AI workflows, you can streamline the documentation process. And it also ensures that you have comprehensive context from the start. So that will really help to minimize like miscommunications when people are reviewing that documentation. And then lastly, with the workflows, you can actually consolidate the conversations from multiple tools into Loom. So you can keep the conversation going with the comments and yeah. So getting started with our Loom AI. So Loom AI will instantly turn your video message into a text doc that is ready to share. And so you can think like one click, you're able to automate time-consuming tasks like drafting documents like SOPs, standard operating procedures, step-by-step guides, PR descriptions, code docs. But then we take it a step further with now our integration with Jira. It will automatically create a Jira issue. We do also integrate with Linear. So we use Linear, I have that as well. But some other ways that AI makes it super easy is it takes your transcript and it will auto-compose either an informal like Slack message or an email. And we've spent a lot of time on the AI functionality, and we're seeing that it's really helping customers to save time with like bug reports. I know that's one that we were talking about a lot, ways that you can automate it. And this visual just kind of shows going from recording the walkthrough of the bug, explaining it, and it simplifies it because it will take the transcript and it actually will prompt in the editing suite to generate a Jira ticket. And so I'll show you that during the demo, just how simple it is. But you can see from the AI, like it's automatically steps to reproduce, expected result, and you can edit all that too. So why these AI workflows really matter is because it's also reducing the back and forth. So perhaps you're a developer and you are explaining, talking with your designers, and it just helps to close that communication gap. And then also when your teams are able to fix bugs faster, it will create a better customer experience as well. And also, better experience for your support team who is helping those customers. And then also when you are quickly documenting all this knowledge, all this training material, you're able to help your team more quickly align And when you have new people who join, you can help people onboard faster and get up to speed. All right, we've gone through a bit of the background, why we built these features. Now, quickly just getting started. Any questions so far? I'm just going to pause for a second, take a sip of water.
So nothing online yet. Are there any from the room? One up the back there. I'll come with the microphone. The roving microphone. They're in the room, you do not need it, which is an oddity.
You both said you use Looms for short updates, for daily kind of briefing and so on. How about for longer piece of work, for let's say a lecture or a full, I don't know, company presentation? Would that be suitable for that as well?
That's a great question. Absolutely. So Loom can definitely be short form or long form. We upload our webinars through their Zoom integration and are on Loom. So those are longer, typically more like 30 minutes to an hour. What type of, you're saying lectures?
Well, if we were, for instance, doing a training session where we had a call, this was about 2.5 hour call with our Australian implementers. And we've got one of our girls now going through, and she is literally running through it saying, right, at this time that was said, this time that was said. So that was recorded on Teams. And it's 2.5 hours to watch through. So from the sounds of what you're saying is that we can put in with the AI chapters where certain things were in it. And that's the kind of thing that we would find useful for those longer sessions.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're took the words out of my mouth. I was about to mention like chapters, and there's like, I'll show this in the demo as well, but there's the summary. So even though they may be like definitely use Loom for those longer recordings, but the viewer, they can quickly get up to TLDR, looking at the summary. They can watch it at 2x speed. So as a pro tip, I tell everybody, especially longer webinars, you can watch it at 2x speed and still get the content. Yeah, it's a great question.
Indeed, agreed. Any more questions from the room? No? All good? All good?
Awesome. Well, getting started, it is very simple. You can download our recorders. We have the desktop app, Chrome extension, and mobile app. And a question I get all the time is, like, which one would I use for what? And we're talking about even like longer form videos, or maybe like a recording that you're going to be using like over and over again. Those evergreen looms, I would recommend using the desktop app. And it has a full feature set. Like you'll see there's like there's frames that you can see, there's speaker notes. So just some differences there. But then the Chrome extension, I use that on a daily basis also for more like on the fly recording. You pin it to your browser, you can quickly launch it and maybe ask somebody a question or send some feedback. So you'll likely develop a preference of like which one you like to use, but I definitely encourage you to download all of them. And then the mobile app, you can record from your phone, you can record on your screen, or my favorite is watching Looms and staying up to date on my notifications, because if someone comments on it, I can quickly reply through the app. So the question that I leave you with is to Loom or not to Loom. If you are worried about the tone of your message, worried about maybe like how your feedback is coming off, that is a great time to record yourself in a Loom. They will hear the content, hear your tone, hear more of the context there. If you are trying to describe a visual, you are sending a screenshot of something, absolutely great time. Just record your screen. You can talk through it, through that report, and quickly copy and paste it and send it off. And then lastly, if you can communicate it in less than a paragraph, by all means, send the text, send the Slack message. But if you find yourself typing out a lengthy email, worried about grammar, worried about formatting, definitely save yourself time. You can embed a Loom. Okay, now we're going to hop into the live demo. Just give me 1 second, because I'm going to reshare my screen. Take this down. Okay, it's a little bit inception when I have these different ones up. Okay.
The joys of streaming and hybrid as well.
All right. You up.
Let's get you up on screen again.
Nice. Okay. So I'm sharing my full screen here, and I'll walk you through like real day life, way that I definitely am recording Looms, asking questions all the time of the day. So let's say, for example, I'm working on these slides and I want to get feedback, ask for some assistance I talked to our marketing team. They helped me with this when I was putting it. So I would launch Loom. I have my desktop app. It's pinned to my toolbar, makes it super easy. Some things you'll notice here, my cam bubble just popped up, and you can move this around while you're recording.
Didn't you do virtual backgrounds with the camera? That's cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. So with the Chrome extension and with the desktop app, you will see here this effects button, and you can change your background blur or color. I mentioned that the desktop has full feature set, so this is a difference. We have the frames here, so just adds a little.
I use Loom like all the time. I didn't know any of this.
Oh my gosh! Okay. Cool. Yeah. So, but yeah, I get that a lot during my trainings and webinars. People have been using Loom for years and are like, "Oh, I didn't know that feature existed."
Yeah.
So,
that's cool.
Yeah.
I've learned something too.
Amazing. Yes, so those are the fun effects. For the desktop app, since it is great for those longer form videos or like ones that you're going to be using over and over again, we have speaker notes. Whoops, it's from actually this, I think. Yeah, so speaker notes here, it creates this like sticky, which you can move around. You can type your talking points. And that way you have your notes front and center.
Didn't know that either. I'm using Post-it notes, old-fashioned paper-based Post-it notes. That's cool too.
Yes. So I use this definitely I use this for the pre-watch for this event.
I'm guessing that people can't see the speaker notes.
Exactly. Yeah. So you can put it front and center. So you are during the recording, you can look directly at the camera, but it will not show up when the video renders. Yes. And yeah, so that's super helpful when I have like data points that I need to make sure I get correct. But a pro tip though with this, or best practice, I guess, with the speaker notes, not necessarily like, doesn't really need to be like a teleprompter. With Loom, like since they are like quick sends, you still want to have like, there's a human aspect to it. You still ahs, like just as you would communicating live. But I will show you some ways to edit out so you don't have to worry about being perfect. Yeah. So that's fun, a little preview with that. So I've gone through now the speaker notes, the different effects. With both recorders, you can decide to record your full screen, a specific window, or my favorite, and this is on only the desktop app, is the custom size. And so when you are creating these more like polished Looms, you can drag in, I'll show you actually exactly what I'm talking about. You can drag and create on your screen. So let's say I'm creating these slides. I can move my cam bubble. This control panel over here for like stop, pause, you can move this out of the way. I like to have it up just in case I need to like pause and take a drink of water or something like that. But on the desktop app with features, you have a drawing tool also. So I can change the color. And this is a way to like point out like, or draw attention to something that you are talking to or like underline for emphasis. That might be a way, maybe using the drawing tool. And then lastly, this is just for fun, is our confetti. And
I think that's captured in the Loom, right?
Yes. Yeah, that will show up in your Loom.
Nice.
I use it a lot, maybe too much, but there is also never too much confetti.
Nice.
But there's also a shortcut here, Control Command C. Before I hit record, I just want to show you one other thing with your settings. So up in the right-hand corner, opened up my settings. Here, enhancing, touch up my appearance, auto lighting, noise filtering. Yeah. So these are those helpful tips that, you don't have to be perfect. Maybe you're in an office, someone's talking in the background, or I might have my dog barking, so it filters it out. And then lastly, with your preferences, you can actually create your own shortcuts. So we have preloaded ones here, start, stop, but just so this is something that also typically gets missed.
Didn't know about them either.
Yeah, so that's a fun one.
Shortcuts.
Yeah, shortcuts. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit record. There will be a countdown. And pro tip with this also is to wave at the beginning because it creates a moving GIF thumbnail. And so if you're sending this like an email, they'll see your face and it's just super welcoming. So let's go ahead and hit record. And your countdown. Hi, I am working on these slides for my presentation, and I would love to get some input from the marketing team. So on this slide here, I have the demo. This is what we'll be going right into for my live walkthrough, but I would love to have a mock-up of the editing suite so that viewers, the attendees, they have an idea of where we're going with the demo. So I would love for brand team, if you could send over some assets that I could put in here, that would be fantastic. I'm going to include a link to this presentation in the call to action button so that you can easily access it. But feel free to ask any questions or add any comments on the Loom. Thanks so much. All right, oops. There we go. So you can see that the video, it instantly renders. And I mentioned the moving GIF thumbnail. So see my little wave at the beginning. And you may have noticed that AI instantly added a title. You can change this if you need to, but makes it super easy to send it off.
See, that for me is one of those things that like is super useful because it's less words is harder than more words for me personally speaking. So like, oh great, I don't have to title this thing.
Yes.
Done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Makes it simple, saves you time. And we had talked about like summaries. And so this was also generated from AI. You can edit it if you need to, but brought up chapters. So this is a pretty short Loom, so they did not generate, but for those longer Looms, AI would add that. All right, so now over to our workflows. So with AI, this is our, like I mentioned how you can auto compose. So if I actually click on this, it will pop up from the transcript different options for you. So creating documentation, step-by-step guides, code docs. You can always edit this, but it's a great jumping off point and it saves a ton of time for you because it's definitely a big hurdle thinking about starting documentation.
Yeah.
And quickly, just the composer here. So Slack or Teams creates a really like informal short message. It does link to Loom, or there's more formal with the actual email. Now to the super fun one is our new integrations with Jira and with Linear. And so I'm just making sure you can see all this. Okay. So this will automatically create an issue, a ticket for you in either Jira or Linear. I do want to point out that with these, they do need to be set up at the like workspace level. So if it would be an admin in Jira, they would set it up for the Loom, for your like company's Loom account, and then you would be able to use this feature. If I actually click create, just takes a minute to think. And then you'll see here, oops, it automatically adds all of that over. And you could always copy and paste it if you're putting it somewhere else, but this is just a way to streamline that. So I've thrown a lot at you already with the AI features. This is something that I definitely encourage you to go and test out. It's like, yeah, I would say test it out. But if you have any questions, I'm here. If you were to share my email, you need help. Yeah.
One question from the front.
Yeah.
A few questions.
There's actually really interesting things with generating documentation and tickets, but it seems to be that different teams, they have different like, structure of the description and different document things. Is it somehow possible to like define your own, I don't know, not prompt, but your own format, other things? Because in my area, I'm from the product manager side. I also, maybe not sending the bugs, but it also seems to be really useful to generate some like descriptions and other things, because it's easy for you to just highlight the key things and then all the rest will be just auto-populated. Like developers, they have this auto-complete, while product managers do not have these things. Is it possible somehow to change it?
So I would, that's a great question. Depending on what type of documentation you're right, I would take a look at these preloaded ones here. I would need to look into the custom. This is still relatively new to me, so let me look into that for you.
Not only around the documentation, but integration as well. Yeah, so guys, here's my explanation of this user story. Yeah, so,
Just gonna leave this over here.
Everywhere this is like step to reproduce my user story.
Yeah.
No, so
it's like creating like custom templates for how it pulls in.
This around this.
Yeah, let me look into that for you.
That was going to be one of my potential feature requests. I use this, the statement of work SOP step for that. I'm a product manager basically in my day job, and I use, we'll come on to that in the panel discussion essentially, but I use it for things like that. There isn't a like perfect, I found anyway, out of the box integration like that. But the SOP stuff is close enough, but it means rather than starting with a blank page and a flashing cursor, I've got something, you know, but there is scope for enhancement, but it's still pretty cool. And bugs, like, man, we'll come on to that. I'm spotting. The reason why I've been deliberately quiet is because I'm for panel discussion, because I'll come on to that in a minute.
Yes, yeah. We'll
Go on, one more question.
Yeah, so it's also it also seems to be a really useful when we are creating some Loom for maybe even our end users. Yeah, when we explain something. But do you have something that will help me to quickly edit this Loom? Like, for example, imagine you have a team of 10 product managers and you want to have this consistency, the same structure and feel and look. But when you create this video, maybe you have some like AI things to not only like remove some words or some like pause, but also some, I don't know, he will be automatically edit the caption for the whole screen. So when you do this presentation, they make some small highlights automatically inside your video. Yeah, so it's not only about man who is all speaking, like talking head, but it's also edit something inside the video. Is it anything?
So this is exciting. It was announced a couple weeks ago, but so we actually acquired another startup called Rewatch, and they have a highlight feature, and that was one of my favorite things of theirs. So you're able to create like clips. Is that kind of what you're thinking, like taking a video and creating like clips from it or highlights?
Something like to do with the text things, but with video. So like I create the structure that anyone should have, I don't know, key changes, then like, I don't know, important limitations, and I know other things.
Right.
And AI just picks some key information from your speaking, and then like not showing your face and video of your tool, but also make some spotlights for the full screen. Like, remember these things.
Okay, so I guess there's a couple things here. So in terms of creating so chapters is what I would at least consider for being able to jump around.
The video. So like basically when I watch the video, I'm not like exactly the same time watching the chapters. So it's probably better like when I'm watching the video, everything is actually presenting inside this video. So now you're watching this chapter, this will be like blah blah blah.
Okay. I mean,
my use case is that when you do right now really short video, like when we do bigger videos around like explaining even like release, we need to like take a pause and highlight something, like takeaways.
Okay.
And actually, I don't want to create video slides and other things. Like just why I'm not when I'm speaking, why the tool could automatically generate all these things for me.
Sounds like a cool feature request to me.
This is going to be recorded, and so I'm going to share that with our team.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see.
I could use that too.
On YouTube, they also have this possibility to highlight even something on the video, put some spotlights. There's additional links, because it's really interesting when even you explain something or onboard users, and you add some, there will be additional information, and it's spotlighted directly in the video. So it's not something, get to this description, somewhere will be the link to additional video or additional user guides and that things. Just directly spotlight inside the video, maybe interactive. Okay, just like so.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Feature requests. If you're a product guy, I can tell.
Keep them coming. And also, when you're ever like sending any feature requests, or like you would like it, I would think it would behave this way or something. Definitely recording a Loom. Definitely.
I've already done it a few times.
And Bruce has gotten feedback from that way. It's definitely the best way, because it can like fully see like a walkthrough and like that gets sent directly to our product team. So.
And do you actually, plan to extend number of, you show a feature that allowed me to highlight something on the screen, like, I don't know, do you plan to extend this number of things? Because like we have a really complex interface in our application, and when you show it, you always need to zoom to a specific part, like to explain, I'm talking about these things.
Right.
Do you plan to add something?
So I'm going to be sharing our roadmap shortly, but for screenshots, that is currently in beta. You can annotate on those, but I'm not sure. I don't know if we have anything for the video side in terms of being able to add, like draw, like afterwards. But that also would be something to pass along. Yeah, definitely.
Just in general, trying to explain something new to somebody new, that is a useful feature.
Definitely. Awesome.
Any more questions? You're welcome to ask more, or anyone else. And we just come back there with the microphone. You guys really want these water bottles.
What about that? Following on from the first one of the points there, I think anyway, I lost track a bit in the middle of that, but we have teams across the world. So we have people who English isn't their first language, and I know that when we talk on meetings, they have translators going on alongside them. And sometimes they find this a bit difficult to follow a translation live while we're talking. Is that the kind of thing you have within Loom, where I can actually put a translation for my Spanish speakers rather than the English translation, or actually something separate?
Good question.
So it's not translating, but if a video is spoken in it, there would be like a Spanish transcript. But that's definitely something that's come up for sure.
Maybe speaking in English for someone in Spanish who English isn't that good, and get mistakes made because of it. And I'd want to be able to give information that they can understand.
Yeah.
Makes sense as a use case.
Yeah.
Question? Let me just come up. This stage is cool.
Thank you for the presentation. And one of the use cases I was thinking, perhaps this on your roadmap, is integrating Loom with the Jira Service Desk, because one of the key use cases is getting your customers, or like even internal customers, to problems that they're facing, so that very much in the same vein as that asynchronous process, allow your agents to more effectively troubleshoot rather than having to ask for screenshots, asking for a call at a separate time and things like that. So is that something that you'll be considering?
So if I heard correctly, being able to record directly in Jira?
Jira Service Desk in particular, because that's one of the major use cases of asynchronous collaboration, which is, your customer raising a request, I have a problem, let me walk you through what I'm seeing. And so then the agent can then go ahead and troubleshoot that rather than having to arrange for a separate meeting or ask more questions.
Yeah, definitely. So as of right now, there is, with the roadmap I'll show you, there is a way to record directly in Jira and also Confluence. And so is it Jira Sellers? Is that what you were?
Jira Service Desk. That was,
yeah.
It's easy for me, I'm up here.
Okay. So as of right now, it's in Jira, but I will find out. Yeah.
Any more questions? One more here around. Let me give you the mic.
So the question is, if we've got some custom validator on the issue workflow, will it be bypassed by Loom or not?
I'm sorry, I'm gonna come over. I'm having trouble hearing. What was that?
Yeah. So if we've got some custom validator on the issue, will it be bypassed?
I get that one. When you hit create Jira ticket, you get the fields. So if there are any that are like mandatory fields,
Yes.
you have to fill it in manually. But that's fine because you can do so and then hit create. So because I have that exact use case myself. Yeah. Okay. Any more questions? One more down the front.
Yeah, for sure.
This is
Ask
precious.
away.
This is great.
Yeah, and my question is about Q&A with time codes on your videos that you record. Like, if it's just a couple of minutes, I believe it's not a problem to find, especially with the summary. But if it's long video, I know, starting from 10 minutes, it might be also good to find some answers and probably some follow-up with prompts. Did you get it right? Where I can find this and this, if you decided to get back to it later.
So you can search in the transcript, which is what I would suggest if you're looking for something specific. And let me show you that real quick, because I actually just want to get into that. But yeah, that's how I would and I would advise a viewer also, if they're looking for something specific and it's like one of those longer videos, they can look here in the transcript. So you're seeing a couple extra, since it's my video, like I can correct things. Maybe it's like a person's name that gets picked up incorrectly, but you can search it. And here actually is that you can actually change the language. So actually that's what it is. Yeah. So I get that a lot with at least like spoken as well. So you can change it, but it will also, if it's spoken Spanish, it would come up in Spanish. And you could translate it. But what did it show also with the editing your video and looking in the transcript? So let's say it's your own and you're wanting to pick out something specific from one of your longer recordings. You can also go in here and maybe it's something you want to remove. This I love. It's edit by transcript, and I can actually highlight it and I can delete it, and it will also delete from the transcript and from your actual video. So yeah.
Normally I'll go remove the bit before this and then until this bit in words. I know what words to search for in the transcript to do that, because that saved me so many times before. Yeah.
And perhaps like when you're recording, I've done this too, is I will say a specific keyword so I know to like go back to it. Like roadmap or something. Like but yeah, this saves a ton of time, especially if you are recording something and like training videos, and maybe there's a feature that's outdated or like a process that's changed. You can highlight it, delete it from the video, but you can also add in. So let's say it's process change. You can record a short update and you can actually add a clip. You can copy and paste that Loom, or you can see here, there are previous Looms that I've already recorded. You can use other people's videos also. It doesn't have to just be yours. So this is, okay.
Is it possible to update some words?
Yeah. So,
for example, we had one feature and it has this naming, and then we changed the naming. We updated inside these things, and on the video also.
So this is in beta right now. It's variables. Yes.
Nice feature. Nice feature. Such as code names.
You need to record it again.
Oh my God.
Right. So if anybody, and also this is something, if you would like to join any of our beta groups, reach out to me on this, but the variables, it's not only in the transcript, but you can also replace, and it is like spoken. So like someone's name, it's a way to personalize Looms without having to re-record also. So that's a way to think about it. Or in your case, like a word, like a name of something changed. So let's get started. This is my pop-up. So I can actually select a word and I can change it to something else. So yeah, and this is all the pop-ups. Just
Project names changing all the time is like my use case for this. Like Project Blah was only Project Blah for a month or two. Now it's Project something else. Like I'm not going to go and re-record everything. Yeah.
So you right now have this name, and then like during the discovery you change it, and then like you need to change all these resources.
Yeah.
Exercise, especially videos.
Definitely. Yeah.
I can see you've done a KB update project before. Any more questions? One more up here. We come around.
It's, following on from clips and things like that, you showed there about deleting a section of text and the associated video. Could you move it within the same Loom?
Unfortunately, no.
So you'd have to save it as a clip and then reinsert it.
Right.
Didn't actually think of doing that myself. It's a good question.
Exactly.
Yeah, go for it.
I had a question at the start, like while looking at this and seeing a lot of like the crop feature and the recordings, and I was going to ask a question, but it kind of got blown out the water. Was like, how is it better than some of like the standard free tools that you can just crop and record? And to be honest, everything I've seen has just absolutely blown the question out of the water. And this is one of the most amazing things I've seen in a long time. So this is very cool because I'm very visual. So less of a question and more of a it smashed my question out of the water really. So this is really cool.
Nice.
As a customer, essentially, I was originally using a thing installed on my laptop called Active. I forgot what it was called. Some piece of software installed on my laptop for capturing video, and it worked. Every time you captured it, you had to like convert it to some format and then stick it somewhere manually. And it was like really CPU intensive. The laptop would get really hot, and it would take, depending on the length of the video, ages. So the fact it's instantly available was like, okay, cool. Well, this is already immediately better than what I had before, regardless of the features.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, thank you for that. Like, I was on the customer side too, and so it's easy to use, it's intuitive, and now it's just like supercharged with like all the AI features, and just makes it simple to like quickly package up a nice Loom and send it off. So yeah, it's been great. But I've covered a lot, and I know I've got a bit over. So you guys have had really, really great questions. From here, just to show quickly how you share, it's as simple as you can copy a link, paste it into somewhere that you are already communicating, or if you are like perhaps sharing it out publicly, you would want to open up the share window here, because you can change the privacy settings. You can use our integrations for like social posts, LinkedIn, or Gmail. Let me make this public first, because you can actually see what the embed looks like. Sometimes the thumbnail doesn't show up right away, but should be able to now see it. Yeah. So this is what the GIF thumbnail looks like. You can copy it. Maybe you're putting it in your own documentation or like an embed code that you might need. But if I am using Gmail or one of these integrations, it will instantly go to my, oops, my internet's going a little bit slow. Try this again.
The joy of a live demo always.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, it's not working right now. So yeah, live demos. It would show this embed here in the body of the email.
Yeah.
And then it also grabs the title, puts it in the subject line, and would add the summary as well. So you have an email package and ready to go. All right. So that's how you share. And after this, test it out. Let me know any feedback, any questions that you have. But lastly, we'll show here the roadmap. And
I haven't seen this yet myself, so I want to see this.
Let me make this big. All right, so you can see. All right, so we talked about the AI workflows today. These have already launched. Live Rewind is another one that is available on the Chrome extension. And so you're able to, while you're recording, you can actually like stop the recording, rewind it, and maybe you had made a mistake or just wanted to redo a part. So then you don't have to do it during editing. Our recording within Jira and recording within Confluence, that is in beta right now. And then I started to show you some of the preview. So variables, that is how you can quickly swap out maybe an update, name change, personalize your videos. That's in beta. Screenshots and being able to annotate, also in beta. And then what we have coming down the line is like further enhancements with the redesigning of the editing suite, with the, let's see, enhancements. Let's see, what else we got? Oh, more AI generated docs. And also I'm gonna find out about more custom and see where that's at. All right.
Awesome.
Yeah, we've got a lot going on.
Firstly, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So this was the point that we would go into a full half-an-hour panel discussion, but the pizza's here. So I'm going to make it not a full half-an-hour panel discussion. You'll be pleased to hear. We're going to do this in sort of short form. The whole point of this really is to get engagement from you guys, and this is the point where this is going to grill me on what I do in my day job with Loom. But before we get into the details of this, can I just get a quick show of hands? Who here is in the world of product managers, perhaps? 1, 2, 3. How about software engineering? Let's see, software engineering. What do you feel? Oh, software engineering. More software engineers than anything else. All right. What about like ITSM? It's another use case. There's some overlap. There's some multiple hands going up. What about marketing? I've seen lots of people putting their hands up for multiple things. That's cool because that helps with the what questions do we kind of ask and where do we kind of go from this. So how do you guys, thinking of engineering stuff, share bug reports today?
One of the product managers has a board somewhere. So the product manager somewhere has a board. He puts the bugs on the board. He then forgets about them.
That's the key piece.
He forgets about them. 6 weeks later, the CEO says, "Have you fixed that yet?" to me, as a software engineering side of thing. And I say, "What bug?" And that is roughly how our workflow works at the moment.
Sounds streamlined and efficient.
Luckily, from my point of view, I am for Jira, so I see when new products created, new things are done. If I do it, so I see these things. But otherwise, we lose it all. And by the time we remember about it, we don't know the full details. And the person who reported doesn't remember it. So that's what kind of thing where you'd like to say Loom would give us that, record it there, and you forgot about it, it's there.
Sounds good to me. I mean, basically, there was a recent time we did a release webinar for a product that we were shipping. Obviously, it's a release webinar on that day, and I found the bug during the webinar itself. It's like, obviously, not the best, please. So my Loom, I sort of smirked when he talked about like communicating sentiment. In that particular video, the sentiment was, "I am angry." Very like you. But I recorded the video, which was done like off the cuff, passionately with Loom. I created a bug, and I went to the guy in test and went, "Look, this is the bug." And there was no on-site. I sent it a link. We were a remote-first company. There was no super fair. It was like, "Yeah, sorry about that. We'll get that fixed." Great, good. My point has been made as a product manager, but the bug that was raised had, step 1, step 2, step 3, like not emotionally charged sentiment bug report, which is exactly what is needed for 6 months down the line when it gets fixed or whatever for the next release, which is why I asked that question. It sounds like that would resonate. So how about features? How do you guys do kind of features then?
So thank you for the presentation. That was really great. I loved the pen that you can highlight things, especially because for me, as a customer support lead, we do use many of the Loom features either to publish some information about the new features in our products, or maybe to explain to some customers about some troubleshooting that we need to do. So like having some more not heavy editing features, but things that could like do some highlights or do some zooming to do say that you need to click on this button or do something like that. And even to do something a little bit more on the marketing area. So for example, if we want to do like a getting started with this new feature and we want to like reuse what we have recorded on Zoom in a bit of like more professional area, customer facing, I would say, because Loom is very professional, of course. But then like we need to do something in our area that is a little bit less of and some mistakes. So seeing the editing that you can do on the timeline, that was something that I was about to ask and was already replied. So that's really on point, and I really appreciate that. But as a customer support, I would say that one thing that's really good to have is like the cards that they have mentioned. So like, for example, if you need to open a ticket, you can click here on this video and do something like that, like YouTube-ish. I think that would help. And also, I really love the question for the guy up there that said if you could integrate that Loom with Jira Service Management. So, for example, let's say I'm a customer and I got an issue on the app, and I want to show it. Like, it could be with frustration with something, but I want like to click on the app with all the rage that I got and send that video to the customer support team so they can feel how frustrating it is. Like, if you got this on the roadmap, please do so quickly. That would be really great. And if you don't, take that in consideration, because I think it's a good feature for like customer support and a little bit of marketing. So those things are like my key takeaways. And before I hijack more, because we got a lot of good ideas here, that I just wanted to make those points. But in overall, it's a great tool. We are dipping our toes into this like multimedia format to get in touch with our customers, and Loom is helping a lot and plenty. Can't wait to see more.
Awesome. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I mean, I'm customer facing as well, and so being able to like, it's a how-to that you're sending through support. Or just being able to communicate more quickly and efficiently. It's less back and forth. So definitely, yeah, great to hear that you're on the support side and seeing that too. I know that this past year, getting acquired by Atlassian, so much has changed. Like so much, we have now so many resources to ship faster, take the feature requests and integrations, and so I'm sure we'll have more information there. With now that we are part of the Atlassian family, so yeah.
Just expanding on that, the part of JSM, well, I said, is the portal rather than the ticket creation itself or ticket itself. It's the customer-facing part of it. Have Loom on it.
The customer to be able to create a Loom. Cool. Yeah, I was thinking of the other side, but actually totally. Yeah.
And you're right. It encourages them to share more. Like they can actually walk through their question. Yeah, exactly. And that's something like for myself, I definitely like encourage like teams that I'm onboarding to like pro tip, record a Loom, because it's just, it gives richer content. So definitely could see that being helpful.
Yeah, really would help with those like my app is broken, please fix it.
Show me how your app is broken. When you say app, define that for me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nothing more.
Again, define nothing. Yeah. In 2019, me and a colleague spun a company out of our current company. And so I was support among other things. So it's all broken. Like that was like my trigger question for this guy's going to get the short end of the stick from me, because like define what it means. You have a suite of multiple products. You haven't told me what product it is, but if there was something more to go on, I might be able to help you. I think that's why I'm not support, by the way. Are there any other questions or comments? Right. I carry on firing questions out there. No, all good. While I'm digging up the list of questions, he's heard the term bug tennis before.
Oh, as well, yeah, I like this.
Just me. I'm really surprised. We had, in my last place, which was a large global software company that shall remain nameless, we had a metric for bug tennis, which is essentially how many times a bug has gone from developer to tester to developer. And this was a metric that we used to keep a close eye on. We had testers in China, developers in America, so you had literally a day's turnaround between a question being asked and a question being answered. So bug tennis was one of our metrics. And this would really help with back in, I don't know, a long time ago. Less of a problem now. So there we go. So as far as product discovery is concerned, we've touched on some of this stuff already. Can anyone here see the value of something like this for product discovery? And if so, kind of how? I'm seeing a yes and a nod in the front. All your questions have been bang on for product. This is the answer to this question, to be fair.
It's not only about like sharing something and onboarding and helping to adopt that functionality, but it's also you can easily use for doing this product discovery sessions with, especially it will be helpful when you want to communicate the results of the like some discovery session with clients to your team, and they don't want to get all the things. They want to get specific things, and probably some other teams they want to get this raw data, what exactly they told, so they could do their own interpretation of the things. So it seems to be a good thing.
Yeah. It's one of my feature requests I haven't loomed up yet. So we've got to raise a bug in Jira. I want to raise a feature in Jira. I have it written as a user story. Because there are times when you've got a really simple like user story. It's like, yeah, so to write this ticket up and get it into an engineering team's backlog. 20 customers have spoken to me about it in the last day. You don't want to have to write it as a blah 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 type of user. I want to do blah 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 with the product. Just know to fire and forget and have it create a feature. That would be really cool natively. At the moment, I'm doing Loom, but I'm doing it using the SOP functionality and just copying and pasting the content because it's close enough and it's quicker than doing it manually. So it definitely helps.
Yeah, good as like jumping off points.
Yeah,
exactly, definitely. Exactly. Yeah.
Guess you're going in the right direction. I'm mindful of time. I've got loads more questions, but you might have some for me, Liz.
I mean, we talked about feature requests, but maybe thinking about how you use Loom in your day-to-day, like what would you think is like the most impactful?
So the answer is slightly nuanced because the way in which I found Loom answers that. So when I was looking for two things, we're kicking off a knowledge-based revamp project. I know I can't remember who it was. Someone's talked about knowledge-based topic already. We had product documentation that was out of date in places, missing details in some places, and was in entirely different structures. So needed a way of dealing with this mess. And we have a bunch of people who are essentially internal consumers of the product. So wanted to capture their feedback and get that on the knowledge base, along with like how exactly do you configure this thing as a video attached to the words that it was super useful for. At the same time, my boss, my CEO of the company, was encouraging us all to be more social, basically. The idea is, as a product manager, you release a feature and you want to talk about it. And the classic answer is write a blog. And for me, writing a blog is like, I've got to be in the right frame of mind to write a blog. And it's like one every 25 days, I might want to think about it, maybe. So I started off writing blogs, then the pace of the blog writing slowed down because I wasn't enjoying it. And then I thought, well, why don't I just try using this Loom thing? Because I can just do a video and just share with LinkedIn. It's done. And enable that use case. And the titles thing, with social, you get a very short amount of space for text, right? Thinking about like what you're going to call this video to make it sound enticing, having like the tool do that was super helpful for me. So that's how I got into using it. But since then, the AI stuff or the bug reports we've already kind of touched on is super, super useful for me as well. I probably use it most for social, but the most impactful, in answer to your question, is the bugs stuff. Yeah. Because it's so quick, so much quicker, so much less back and forth in Slack. It will be. We're a fully remote company.
Well, that's amazing to hear because that is it's just been so fun, like seeing when like customers when they're in onboarding, like their eyes light up when they like see how like this will help their day-to-day, save them time, and like it's just it's so much fun seeing. So I think with that, maybe like what advice would you have for maybe it's first time Loom users, or maybe if you're feeling a little hesitant to record yourself, like what advice would you give?
The first piece of advice is just do it, basically, because the biggest barrier for my like product team is normally the wanting to turn on their webcam, and thinking of social in particular, it's just so much more engaging if people can see your face. So turn on the camera and just do it, basically, is my biggest piece of advice, which sounds a bit glib, but It is really kind of intuitive to use, and versus exporting a video and waiting 15 minutes for tune code to manually upload it somewhere. It's so much faster and easier.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. So just that would be my advice too, is to it did take me a little bit just to get used to hearing my voice, hearing it back. But it's the best part about Loom is it isn't supposed to be perfect, and it is supposed to still have that human connection. So that goes with the just do it. Jump in there. And if you have ums and ahs, you can always remove them with filler words. So yeah.
A question from the room. By the way, if you're watching online, please feel free to add questions. I'm watching. I've got a list of questions right there.
Great. I'll save some for the chat later. Since that we are in topic of just doing it, great part of my team, and especially my wife, for example, they are big introverts. They hate webcams. So it's something that really puts a barrier when you are using an app like Loom. And I would like to hear from you how you would address that. And in case you don't have any idea on how to do it, I would suggest to use kind of like some avatars or something like Memoji-ish thing that someone can create like their own digital personality, so they can get friendlier with the camera. So since that we were on the topic, I worth saying.
That's a good suggestion. Avatars.
We do have, so you can change it. I was about to share my screen to show you what I'm talking about, but you can, I won't, but let me show you real quick. This is your full screen. And thank you for bringing this up, because I typically bring that up in a 101. And so I missed it with this, but here on your cam bubble, if you hover over it, this little person icon, that changes to, and I haven't uploaded a picture of my Atlassian Loom account yet, but this can be an avatar or person. And you can turn off the camera. So perhaps you're just walking through something on your screen, just don't want to be on camera that day. You can turn it off completely and just share your screen. Thank you.
I've recorded bug reports from the train before, and obviously not wanting to be obvious, I'm definitely on the train on the way somewhere. I've done that camera off. The other piece of the answer I would give is some of that stuff starts from the top. I speak to a lot of customers that use my product, and some will culturally not have the camera on. If you turn your camera on, sometimes you get an extra one, and over multiple calls, you get more cameras coming on. So if you're in a position where you can change the culture, that's part of that, in my view. Anyway, thank you.
So on Apple, I'm sure Microsoft has it as well. You've got the me emojis, where I think, is that sort of what you was alluding to, where on FaceTime you can make yourself a T-Rex or something, and it tracks your face, your facial expressions, but it's just not your own face. That might be another way to limit the barrier to entry if someone just wants to have their own emoji and not have their face across a product, but they might be the T-Rex of the group. Or do you know what I mean? So is there any roadmap for potentially implementing something like that, like a live tracking emoji?
So I'm not sure about the live aspect, but thinking about avatars in general, with the variables, that's we're at, I guess, kind of stage 2 of now having audio with the variables. Before it was just in the transcript and in the title. But I know that that is a plan down the line, is to have avatars. I don't know exactly what that looks like, but it's evolving quickly.
Very cool. The avatar in the house, but I think it has a lot of things for who's watching, because they won't see anything stimulating on the screen. They will see just their screen, not moving, or maybe just the mouse. It would be so kind of have something that will not expose the person, but at the same time will get them more comfortable interacting with because face to face is one thing, but when you are when you've got the camera element involved in something, maybe some people may feel off doing it. So I think that I would use something like or something like that. help people like getting used to the camera, yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Any more questions or comments? Do you have any more for me?
Covered a lot. I know. Yeah, we're
heading to pizza, which is staring at me.
I want to say Sam, my coworker, is in the chat, so say hi to him. Yeah, thank you all so much for having me. Look me up on LinkedIn and we can connect. Great.
Thank you, Liz. So just one final thing for pizza, which is this. Follow us on LinkedIn once more, of course. It's a mandatory thing, exactly. But this also. So we're back here at the Adaptivist office on the 16th of October for another event on Confluence this time, and we've got 10 ways to use Confluence at its best. We'll obviously be live streaming as well. So if you're interested in Confluence, it's clearly adjacent, it's in the same ecosystem, please do come and join us. We'll have Matt as speaker from K15T, said that wrong. So please do join us for that. Final thing we need to do is who's doing the best questions? We have 2 water bottles to give away.
Okay.
There are questions online, by the way, so not to worry about that aspect.
And I apologize, I didn't catch y'all's names when you're asking the questions. You guys all asked really good questions. I wish we had more water bottles.
Yeah.
But
yes, there is other swag on the side you can have.
I would say, what is your name? It's like, Rashia. Yeah, and I'm sorry, gentlemen. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for all your questions. I had to think of, I'm gonna have to look up some answers for you, but definitely get a water bottle.
I'll get your details afterwards, and we'll do the logistics afterwards. Thank you. Well done.
And then up in the bleachers, yes. Yeah, what was your name? Stephen. Yes, thank you so much for your questions as well. And yeah, you were the first, asking about the lectures. So I'm excited to hear how you start using Loom for those longer form videos. But you also get a water bottle.
All right. All let's say is thank you very much for coming. Hopefully see you all on the 16th of October, and let's get some pizza. And thank you to those of you who are joining us online as well. See you hopefully on the 16th too. Goodbye.
Bye.
And pizza time in the room. Thank you.
Thank you.